Welcome to the Sky Commander Flight Brief. It's your mission-ready podcast for drone pilot training and aerial insights across Canada.
From Transport Canada rules to real-world drone ops, we break it down, take you higher, and help you earn your wings. Because here at skycommander.ca, we don't just fly.
It hints there's more to it. It's a masterclass, a deeper level, maybe a philosophy or a community focus, perhaps.
It's definitely intriguing, sets them apart from just, a basic tips show. Skycommander.ca is the obvious next step. Precisely. If you're thinking about flying a drone in Canada, boom, this content is aimed right at you.
Powered by skycommander.ca.
The elite podcast for Canada's drone pilot. Okay, let's get started. Ever been caught in that international scheduling nightmare? You're trying to nail down a meeting time with someone halfway across the world.
Yeah, and suddenly you're doing mental math, trying to figure out time zones.
Exactly. Is it coffee time for them? Or maybe bedtime? Or think about a big global project deadlines seem to shift depending on who you ask. It's just time zone chaos.
It really can be. But there's actually kind of a universal cheat code for time, a sort of secret language that cuts through that confusion.
And that is what we're diving into today, right? Zulu Time.
Zulu Time, precisely.
Zulu Time. It sounds kind of mysterious, doesn't it? Almost like spy stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it does have that ring to it. But it's actually incredibly practical.
So what is it at its core?
Well, it's a global time standard.
Yeah.
It's the backbone for operations in some really critical areas, like aviation, the military.
Okay.
Even a lot of the digital stuff we use every day relies on it. You'll also hear it called UTC.
UTC, Coordinated Universal Time.
That's the one. And sometimes people sort of lump it in with GMT, Greenwich Mean Time.
Right, GMT. But UTC is the more precise modern standard.
Exactly. Think of GMT as the historical starting point based on the sun over Greenwich. But UTC, well, that's the super accurate version we use now based on atomic clocks.
Atomic clocks, okay. And Zulu Time fits in how?
Zulu Time is essentially the specific name NATO and the military use for UTC. It's their shorthand.
Gotcha. So for you listening, if you've ever, tied your brain in knots over time zones,
or if you're just curious how the world stays synchronized,
then this deep dive is definitely for you. We've pulled together info on the history, the practical uses, even some common mix-ups about Zulu Time.
Yeah, our goal here is really to give you a clear shortcut to understanding it. We want you to see why it's important, maybe even how it could be useful for you, without getting bogged down in super technical jargon.
Okay, let's unpack that history then. How did we even get to needing a universal time? Seems like there must be a story there.
Oh, absolutely. You have to picture the 19th century. Suddenly you have railroads, crisscrossing continents, the telegraph connecting people instantly.
Right, total game changers.
But imagine the mess. Every town had its own local time based on the sun, coordinating a train schedule. A nightmare.
Utter chaos, I bet.
Pretty much. So visionaries like Sir Sanford Fleming came along. He was a big advocate for dividing the world into 24 standard time zones.
And these were based on GMT, Greenwich Mean Time?
That was the reference point, yes. Yeah. GMT was kind of the first crack at a global anchor time.
But then technology marched on.
Exactly. Mid-20th century, we get atomic clocks. Incredibly stable, incredibly precise. Scientists realized, hey, we can do even better than GMT.
Ah, so that's where UTC comes from. International agreement, super accurate clocks.
Precisely. A global scientific consensus.
Okay, so GMT gets the high-tech upgrade to UTC, but the name, Zulu Time, where does that specific term jump in?
Think of it like a specific dialect, maybe, for critical fields. NATO and the military needed an absolutely unambiguous way to refer to UTC.
And they landed on Zulu Time. Why Zulu?
It comes down to the letter Z. In time zone designations, Z means a zero offset from UTC, no difference.
Zero offset, meaning the time at the reference point, basically.
Exactly. And in the NATO phonetic alphabet, Alpha, Bravo, Charlie.
Right, for clear radio communication.
Z is Zulu. So Zulu time became the standard way to say UTC time in those communities.
Okay, let me make sure I've got this straight for everyone listening. If someone says Zulu time, they mean the exact same moment as UTC.
Correct.
And that time is, for our practical purposes, what people used to call GMT.
Essentially, yes. Zulu, UTC, GMT, they all point to the time at the prime meridian in Greenwich. The real difference is UTC's atomic precision, and Zulu being the specific military and aviation term for it.
Okay, that clears it up nicely. So that Z you see tacked onto timestamps sometimes. It's not just random.
Not at all. That Z stands for the zero meridian.
The prime meridian running through Greenwich, 0 degrees longitude.
That's the one, the baseline for all our time zones and longitude.
And the Zulu part is purely practical, making sure Z isn't misheard over a crackly radio or something.
Absolutely. Avoids confusion.
Yeah.
Especially important in noisy environments. And the key thing to remember, Zulu time means 0 offset from UTC. It's the baseline.
So fun fact, if I'm in London in, say, January when they're not on summertime,
Yep.
am I technically on Zulu time?
You absolutely are.
Yeah.
In winter, UK local time lines up perfectly with UTC, which is Zulu time.
Huh. Okay. History, naming, got it. But I saw something weird in our research. Leap seconds. Sounds a bit sci-fi.
It does, doesn't it? But it's a real quirk of UTC, and therefore Zulu time too.
A quirk? How so?
Well, you see, those atomic clocks are too perfect, in a way. The Earth's rotation, it's not perfectly steady. It actually slows down just a tiny, tiny bit over time.
So our clocks are ticking along perfectly, but the planet itself is slightly lagging.
You got it. So to keep our official time, UTC, aligned with the Earth's actual rotation. So noon UTC is still roughly when the sun's highest over Greenwich. They occasionally add a leap second.
They just pause time for a second.
It's even weirder. When they add one, the very last minute of that day gets 61 seconds.
61 seconds? Seriously?
Yep. You might actually see a timestamp like 23.59.60 Z. It's a valid time, just for that one extra second.
Wow. Okay, that is quirky. When was the last time that happened? Our notes said 2016.
That's right. New Year's Eve, 2016. And honestly, it might have been the last one.
Oh, why is that?
There's a big debate going on. Leap seconds can cause headaches for computer systems, complex software. So there's a push to maybe just let UTC drift slightly away from solar time.
To phase them out.
Potentially. It highlights that tension, between our neat human-made systems and the messy reality of the natural world.
Fascinating. Even time itself isn't perfectly straightforward. Okay, let's shift to where Zulu time really earns its keep. High-stakes places, like the military. Why is it so vital there?
Think about coordinating troops, aircraft, ships, often across multiple time zones. Any confusion about timing could be, catastrophic.
A missed rendezvous, a strike hitting at the wrong moment.
Exactly. The consequences are incredibly high. Using Zulu time eliminates that ambiguity. Everyone is on the same clock, period. It provides a crucial psychological anchor, too, in stressful situations.
So it's way more than just jargon. It's fundamental for safety, for success.
Absolutely. If an order says rendezvous at 0500 Zulu, that means 5:00 a.m. UTC. No matter where you are in the world, you know precisely when that is. No calculations needed, no confusion about daylight saving.
That clarity must be priceless.
Right.
And our sources mention it's used in secure comms, too.
Yes, it's often embedded right in encrypted message headers. And for synchronizing satellite systems, it ensures everything is accurately timestamped, which is vital for piecing events together or just maintaining security.
Okay, from the ground and satellites, let's go to the air. Aviation seems just as reliant on Zulu time.
Oh, completely. Aviation is maybe the most visible example of Zulu time in action every single day.
How so?
Every single weather report pilots use METARs, TAFs are all in Zulu. Every flight plan filed uses Zulu. Air traffic control logs, all Zulu.
So when a pilot files their plan, they're not using, say, New York time if they're leaving from JFK?
Nope. It's all Zulu. Provides that single, unchanging reference for everyone involved. Pilot, controller, ground crew, doesn't matter where they are. Pilots even have dedicated Zulu clocks in the cockpit.
Right next to the local time clock, I imagine.
Often, yes.
So if I hear a pilot say, we'll rotate at 1312Z, what does that mean for me back in my passenger seat?
That simply means we plan to start our takeoff at exactly 1:12 p.m. Zulu time. No guesswork. Everyone in the system knows precisely when 1312Z is.
It's really something how this one standard holds together such complex global systems, and it even goes beyond Earth, right? Something about Mars.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. NASA actually uses a similar concept for Mars missions. It's called Coordinated Mars Time, or MTC.
MTC, like UTC, but for Mars.
Kind of. It's calibrated for the Martian day, which they call a sol.
Yeah.
It's a bit longer than an Earth day. But the principle is the same. A single standard time for coordinating everything happening on that planet.
So the rovers have their own Zulu time, in a way.
You can think of it like that. And interestingly, back here on Earth, When we communicate with those Mars missions or any deep space probe,
We use Zulu time.
we use Zulu time, yes.
Right.
That's the reference for scheduling communication windows, analyzing the data coming back.
Yeah.
It's the anchor for talking to the cosmos.
Amazing. Okay, back from Mars to the oceans, seafaring uses it too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very similar logic to aviation and the military. On naval ships, pretty much every significant event gets logged in Zulu time.
Like engine checks, course changes.
Engine checks, bridge handovers, navigation fixes, everything. It keeps the ship's official log consistent as it moves through different time zones.
And changing watches. When the crew shifts change over.
Usually scheduled right on the hour, Zulu time. Makes it simple, keeps everyone synchronized no matter the ship's location. It's taken very seriously.
How seriously?
Well, naval officers are often expected to learn to calculate Zulu time conversions in their heads. It's considered that fundamental.
Wow. Our source had a pretty blunt example too, didn't it?
Yeah, something like, bridge watch turnover at A400Z, don't be late, it's not a suggestion.
Huh. Leaves no room for doubt. Okay, so clearly vital in the real world. But what about movies? Hollywood loves military stuff. Do they Zulu time right?
Sometimes. It's a mixed bag, honestly.
Look, the common mistakes.
A classic one is hearing something like 0300 Zulu local time.
Which is impossible, right? Zulu isn't local.
Exactly. It's inherently contradictory. Another one is using the 12-hour format. You might hear 3 p.m. Zulu,
Instead of...
1500Z. Zulu's always 24-hour format.
So if you hear those, it's a sign the scriptwriter maybe didn't do all their homework.
Probably a safe bet.
Yep.
But to be fair, some films do nail it.
Right, which ones?
Our sources mention Clear and Present Danger and Crimson Tide as examples that generally handle the military procedures and lingo, including Zulu time, pretty accurately.
Good to know. It's nice when they get the details right.
Okay, changing gears a bit. Zulu time even shows up in the digital world now.
It does, and it's really essential there too. Think about something like blockchain and cryptocurrencies.
There are timestamps for those transactions. They're almost always recorded in UTC, or Zulu time.
Why is that important?
Because blockchain is global and decentralized. You need a single, reliable time reference that everyone agrees on to keep the transaction history consistent and trustworthy. No arguments about when something actually happened based on local time zones.
Makes sense for a borderless system. What about cybersecurity?
Absolutely critical there, too. When you're investigating a cyber attack, you need to know the exact sequence of events.
Down to the second, probably.
Or millisecond. So security logs, audit trails, those SIME tools security pros use. They rely heavily on UTC timestamps. It lets them build an accurate timeline, regardless of where the attack originated or where the affected systems are located.
So Zulu time is like the hidden clock keeping order even in cyber warfare, and it pops up in pop culture beyond movies too.
Oh yeah. Gamers might recognize it from series like Call of Duty. Fans of Tom Clancy novels will see it all the time. And, even though it's fiction, Star Trek's Stardate system, it taps into that same idea, a universal time for coordinating across vast distances.
Any other less obvious places?
Ham radio operators.
Yeah.
Amateur radio folks often log their contacts or QSOs using UTC or Zulu time. It's the standard way to keep records when talking to people all over the globe.
It really is everywhere once you start looking. Okay, so for someone listening, maybe thinking, all right, I get it's important, but how do I actually use it? How do you convert your local time to Zulu?
The basic idea is simple. Zulu time equals your local time plus your UTC offset.
The offset. That's how many hours your time zone is ahead of or behind UTC.
Exactly. The key is knowing that offset. And this is crucial, remembering that the offset can change if you have daylight saving time.
Daylight saving. Always complicating things.
It does add a wrinkle. So you need to know your current offset.
Okay, let's try an example. Say I'm in Calgary, Canada during the summer. That's Mountain Daylight Time, MDT. Let's say it's 1:00 p.m. locally.
Right. Calgary on MDT is UTC minus 6 hours. So first, put your local time in 24-hour format. 1:00 p.m. is 1300.
Okay, 1300.
Then, since it's UTC minus 6, to get to UTC, you need to add 6 hours. So 1300 plus 6 hours.
Is 1900. So 1:00 p.m. MDT is 1900 Zulu.
Exactly. 1900 Z.
Got it. So if someone wants to actually start using this, what are some practical steps?
Well, setting up your devices is easy. Most smartphones let you add world clocks. Just add UTC, maybe rename it Zulu.
Okay.
On your computer, you can often display a second clock showing UTC. Some people who work internationally even get a dedicated Zulu wall clock.
A Zulu wall clock. Now that's dedication.
Yeah. But beyond just seeing it, the real trick is to start using it.
How?
If you keep logs or reports, especially for anything involving different locations, timestamp them in Zulu. Drone flight logs, operations reports.
Emails for global teams, calendar invites.
Perfect examples. Put the Zulu time right in the subject line or the meeting details. It eliminates any ambiguity about when something is happening or when it was recorded.
It sounds like developing a kind of Zulu mindset, as our source called it.
That's a great way to put it. Just getting in the habit of asking yourself, okay, what time is it in Zulu right now? It builds familiarity.
And there are tools to help, right? If the mental math gets tricky.
Oh, absolutely. Websites like World Time Buddy or timeanddate.com are fantastic. And there are plenty of Zulu time converter apps for phones, too. Makes it super easy.
So let's summarize the key differences. Why use Zulu instead of just local time if you're not, say, a pilot?
The biggest thing is the reference point. Local time changes constantly where you are, DST. It's relative. Zulu time is absolute. It's the same instant everywhere on Earth, and it never changes for daylight saving.
And the format is always 24-hour, ending in Z.
Always 24-hour, always ends in Z. No location info needed because it's universal.
And daylight saving time, that's the main thing that trips people up with conversions.
It's definitely the biggest hurdle because it changes your UTC offset. Let's use Calgary again. 2.00 of your PM in winter on MST is UTC -7. So that's 2100 Z.
Right, 1400 plus 7 is 2100.
But 2.00 PM in summer on MDT is UTC -6. So that's 2000 Z.
1400 plus 6. Same local time, different Zulu time, depending on the season.
Exactly. You have to know if DST is active.
So if someone bravely wants to do it manually, step by step.
Okay. Step 1. Know your current UTC offset, considering DST. Is it plus or minus UTC, and by how many hours?
Step 1, know the offset.
Step 2, convert your local time to 24-hour format. 3 p.m. becomes 1500, etc.
Step 2, 24-hour format.
Step 3, apply the offset. If you're west of Greenwich, like North America, you add the offset number to your local time to get Zulu. If you're east, like Europe, Asia, you subtract the offset number.
Add for west, subtract for east. Got it.
Step 4, check for rollover. If your calculation goes past 2400, subtract 24 and move the date forward 1 day.
Aha, the date change. Important.
Very. Step 5, format it, 4 digits, HHMM, then stick a Z on the end. 1900Z, 0430Z, 23559Z.
And for somewhere like Tokyo, which is UTC plus 9 if it's 10:00 a.m. there.
Okay, Tokyo is east, so we subtract 10:00 a.m. is 1024-hour format, subtract 9 hours.
10 minus 9 is 1, so 0100Z.
Exactly, 0100Z.
Okay. Seems doable with practice. What are the common slip-ups people make?
Forgetting DST is number 1, using the wrong offset for the time of year.
Right.
Mixing up 12-hour and 24-hour formats, saying 3 p.m. Zulu instead of 1500Z.
Okay.
Applying the offset backwards, subtracting when you should add or adding when you should subtract.
The east-west confusion.
Yeah. And forgetting about that date rollover near midnight, the best fix. Double check. Use a tool if you're unsure. Accuracy matters here.
Definitely. Okay, wrapping up this deep dive, what are the absolute must-remember points about Zulu time?
Number 1, Zulu time is UTC. Same thing, different name, mainly used in specific fields.
Got it. Zulu UTC.
It's the universal, unchanging time reference. Crucial for aviation, military, maritime, tech, anything global, really.
Eliminates time zone confusion.
Completely. And it's always 24-hour format, always ends with that Z.
So knowing about Zulu time isn't just trivia. It gives you insight into how the world works, synchronizes itself.
Right. And it's genuinely a useful tool for clear communication, especially if you deal with people in different time zones.
Which leads to maybe a final thought for people to chew on.
Yeah, think about how many other invisible standards like this are running in the background, just making things work smoothly. Global systems we take for granted.
Like what other hidden frameworks are shaping things without us even noticing? Zulu time is just one piece of that puzzle.
Exactly. It's a fascinating example.
So if we've sparked your curiosity today, definitely check out those tools we mentioned. Try converting your own time to Zulu now and then.
Yeah, you might be surprised how often you start noticing that Z's popping up once you know what it means.
Well, this has been enlightening. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Zulu time. That's a wrap on today's mission, Commander. See above, go beyond, get ahead. For more training, tools, and intel, head to skycommander.ca. If you learned something new, share it, subscribe, and leave us a 5-star debrief.